from Golden One Center. Let's bring in our first guest of the day. We love to talk to her each and every Wednesday. Kayte Christensen joining us. Kayte, good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Great. Dave, you don't have a special greeting for our dear friend Kayte?
Hi, Kayte.
Hi. Are you still sicky and doing things from home?
Yes. It's dumb.
Yes.
I'm so annoyed.
Jason, is that not the best week for you?
Oh, I have my feet up on the desk eating grapes. I want Dave back here. I hope he feels better soon.
You're too nice.
Also, just found out that amongst the three officials tonight, one of them is Tony Brothers.
Oh, is that what got you down? I can tell a tone change for you, Dave.
Just come on, man. Just really, it had to be Tony. I'm not a fan of Tony Brothers.
I could tell.
At all, but whatever, that's fine. We've dealt with 5-on-8 before. Kayte, you saw the video of DeAaron Fox. You saw him making 3-pointers in a non-competitive environment and practice, but truly, how effective can he be? Can he be DeAaron Fox tonight, in your opinion?
I don't think anybody knows the answer to that. I think this is kind of everyone waiting in anticipation to see, but from the video, like, he looked good. His form looked good. It's nice that he had the opportunity to get a little bit of practice and rhythm, kind of get a feel for the little contraption that's going to be on his shooting hand. But I do know this from the standpoint of competitiveness. Like, this team, to me, it's unmatched. It's DeAaron's going to play through this willingly, happily, would never be able to stop him. Otherwise, same thing happened with Domantas Sabonis in December. He's still playing with that fracture in his thumb. Keegan Murray also played through a fracture in his thumb back in December as well. This team has had their little, bumps and bruises and breaks and so on and so forth, but there's been no complaints from anybody, and they played through it. They've gone about their business, and I expect tonight to be the same way.
So, Kayte, would it have to be something that is so incredibly obvious to Coach Brown, maybe even to DeAaron, which it's hard for an athlete to admit, but that takes him off the floor? My point being, DeAaron, he could miss his first 6 shots, but that could be irrelevant of the finger. To what point would they go, look, you're actually hurting the team? And I don't even know that I could think of an example of that. But I guess my question is, would it have to be so obvious that you go, we're honestly better off putting you on the bench? And I don't even know if that's a scenario that could even happen.
Yeah, Jason, so the interesting thing about it, like, obviously none of us are doctors. None of us have seen his x-rays of skin. None of us know exactly what's going on. We know what the team has released. But there was something that DeAaron said in an interview yesterday that made it sound like it's a chip, like a chip of his, like a piece of his bone has chipped off. I don't know, but if that's the case, it's like, okay, it's going to hurt. That's pretty much what's going to happen. You're not going to hurt yourself further. You're not doing any further damage from the sounds of it. And so it's really just about pain tolerance. So I don't think it even comes down to a thing of Coach Brown saying, like, you're hurting us. This is not helping. Like, because the reality is even with his right hand, even though it's his offhand, he's going to be faster than anybody that's out on the floor for the Warriors. And that's the case night in and night out, regardless of who they're playing. So you still have to defend him. You still have to really pay attention to him. That opens things up for other people. So, like, I know that this is a bizarre, terrifying perspective, like, going into this game and thinking, gosh, DeAaron has been so amazing in the playoffs and he's injured. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? So I think people are rightfully so trying to think through all the possible scenarios. But I guess the way that I look at it is if DeAaron says he's fine, like, that's what Mike Brown is going forward on. He's not having plan, A, B, C, D, and like all the different things. Like, he's trusting DeAaron. He's going to go in, and DeAaron has earned that trust.
Kayte Christensen joining us. All right. Well, like you said, we don't know how effective, ineffective, whatever DeAaron's going to be tonight. That being said, the players understand that this is a time they all have to step up. Let's look at Domantas Sabonis, who has had mixed reviews on this series so far. What would you like to see him do more of in tonight's game at Golden One Center?
I think Domas is doing everything that he's supposed to. I think if there's one thing, it's just, he has not seen this drop coverage consistently all year. And I would like to see him be a little bit more aggressive from the elbows. But listen, the reality is that even when he's opting not to shoot that shot, more times than not, he's making a great play for somebody else. And so when you face the same team, potentially 7 games in a row, and you're seeing, the same coverage, sometimes it kind of throws you a little bit. It can mentally get into your head. I don't think that is at all what's going on with Domantas Sabonis. I don't think he's the type of person that how you're covering him is going to change his approach to the game, which is he always thinks about making plays for other people first. And so it's the same kind of crowd, in my opinion, that are sitting there saying, shoot that shot, because we're so conditioned as players and as fans. If they're going to leave you open on the free throw line, like shoot it every single time. Well, you know what? What if they shot it every single time and they only hit 30% of them? Do you still want them to shoot it every single time? Not saying that Domas is going to shoot 30% in those situations, but what I like about what he's doing is, hey, he's not letting it disrupt his approach to the game, which is to make plays for other people. He always thinks about that first before thinking about looking for his own offense. He can still take that time to process through the options while they're sagging off before he goes in to eat up the space, put it on the deck, get to the rim. So, I think that, to me, like, maybe shoot it a little bit more in that scenario, but don't think that you have to shoot it every time they're in drop coverage. But also, you guys, like, I keep hearing all of these things about, oh my gosh, he's playing so timid, so on and so forth. Like, I haven't heard one person say, like, oh, I don't know, maybe the reason he's played the way he has in the last 2 games is because he got his chest stomped on and he might be a little bit sore.
Well, he faked it.
Maybe a little bit sore, but also he's been playing with a broken thumb, and we've not ever one time heard him complain. So I don't know. To me, kind of the narrative around Domantas Sabonis the last 2 games has been kind of sickening.
Kayte Christensen joining us. Kayte, look, you're not going to get every player on your roster playing to the level that everybody wants. Right now, they got that first game from Keegan Murray. How do they kind of get that first, hey, there's Kevin Herro that we know. I don't think he's been bad, but he hasn't been the guy that, can score 25 and really change the dynamic of a game. How do they get Herro going?
I mean, that's a really good question, Jason, because I also think, we rely on Kevin from the perimeter. The whole team has struggled from the perimeter through the first few games, right? It was a little bit better in game 4, but still we've not seen an explosion like we know this team is capable of. And I mean, like, not even just an explosion, just we haven't even really seen them shoot the ball kind of their typical, what we expect from them game in and game out. So I think that that's gotten better. Game 4 was certainly better, without a doubt. But you wonder about consistency. So when it comes to Kevin Herro, I've liked the things that he's done. He's rebounded. He's distributed. He's done some great things defensively, believe it or not. He's struggled a little bit offensively, but I also think that has something to do with having Klay Thompson guarding you. And so really for Kevin, I hope that, I think the worst thing a player can do, especially in this situation when the games matter so much, is to push, to force things. And I at least can say I don't feel like Kevin has forced very much in this series, if anything at all. And I think as a team overall, that pretty much covers the entire, Kings roster. They've done a great job of playing together, of no one trying to do too much, of no one taking on too much. So, I'm just hopeful that with Domas and Kevin, that Domas can kind of get into that DHO action, maybe get a little bit of a rhythm for Kevin where he's not they've been forcing him basically to curl every time, and he puts it on the deck and he's shooting that floater, which he's done well all season. But I would like to see him kind of get a little bit of space and maybe get loose.
Well, it's going to be a great Game 5. We really look forward to it. We know you're on the call tonight, Kayte. Thank you for joining us. We look forward to seeing you out there tonight.
All right, you guys have a good show.
Thank you. All right, that is Kayte Christensen right there. So
Okay.
I'm anxious, Dave. I'm anxious.
Oh, Jason, you know what? They're going to win or they're going to lose. You just got to learn to keep everything mellow and calm. And
Oh, you're right.
you know,
You're
honestly, there's bigger things in life. Win, lose, or draw, just happy to